Welcome to the Academic Woman Amplified podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Mazak, tenured full professor, mom of three, and firm believer that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Hello, listeners. Today I have a piece of a workshop that I did all about our Elevate program. Now, in this workshop, you're going to hear how we came up with the idea for the program, all about the curriculum. So even if you're not mid-career / post-tenure looking for a coaching program, I think that in this episode, you'll get a lot of valuable information about what exactly to focus on if you're mid-career and in that moment when you're going, what do I want to do next? So I hope that you'll really enjoy hearing part of our Elevate info session. If you'd like to hear the whole thing, we've got the link in the show notes so you can go put your email in. We even have a version of the whole thing as a podcast for you, so you can go ahead and have a listen. And please remember that our Elevate program is open for enrollment. It's an application-only program, so you'll just need to apply. And if you go to that same link in the show notes, put your email in, you'll get the information on how to apply for our program. It's a very simple, short application, and within 48 hours, we will look at your application and let you know whether we are inviting you in to our next cohort. Our next cohort starts officially on January 27th with our 3-day virtual writing retreat. We can't wait to kick that off with you, and then the Elevate content starts in February, and it's a 6-month coaching program. So enjoy this snippet of our Elevate info session. Learn about the kinds of things that we have learned through working with so many clients that you should be focusing on if you're mid-career. Learn about how we came up with the idea for the program, and enjoy this piece of our Elevate info session. Welcome, I'm Kathy Mazak, and this is the next level in your career, a look into our Elevate program. So the first thing I want to say is a few truths about mid-career, post-tenure, mid-career. You thought you'd be less tired by now, and I think this meme really kind of captures how many of us feel, particularly at this moment in the semester. Another truth about mid-career is as you've grown in your career, you actually have more responsibilities than ever at your institution, many of them admin responsibilities. And there's still a lot of patriarchy smashing to do. You're still maybe getting pegged with some things that you're like, I thought at this point I wasn't going to have to be doing this anymore. So that's another truth about mid-career. And then this is my favorite one because I found some tangled memes. The truth about mid-career, the post-tenure or mid-career path is completely up to you. Remember when Rapunzel comes down from the tower and she's like, this is the best day ever. And also the post-tenure path is completely up to you. So it can be overwhelming to figure out what to do next because the path for what's next for you is actually even less clear than it was pre-tenure or pre that first promotion. So that first promotion or tenure gives you something to kind of shoot for, then you get it. And then it's like, now there are so many things open to me. What should I do? So we know that there is more for you in your career. And if you landed on this info session, then you probably have been feeling that too. So we know this because our team has helped nearly 50 people dream bigger and reach new career heights in our Elevate program. The cohort that we're recruiting for right now will be our 4th cohort of the program. And so we have some experience doing this. So we know that a more fulfilling, impactful career is waiting for you. And we've developed over the course of, more than 2 years now, what we think is kind of the secret to creating that next level in your career. And it involves these 6 kind of steps or areas of work that I'll be digging into as we go through this information session. And your bullseye here is to kind of take this path. It goes like this. You start at Elevate Your Mission and go around. The results of working in each of these 6 areas will be the up-leveled career. Now, up-leveled is what it means to you. And that's something that we talk about a lot in the program, trusting yourself, trusting what you want next. And so that's something that is really important to us, and why we don't say that the program is going to promote you to full, or the program is going to give you a deanship. It really doesn't have to be any of those things. It really needs to be what you feel is the next level for you. So I wanted to talk real quick about why and a little bit how we created Elevate. So first, I'm going to share with you the very brief version of my post-tenure story. I was a tenured full professor at the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez. And you may have heard about the Ley Promesa, which is a imposed law onto Puerto Rico that calls for drastic cuts in the budget and a reforming of kind of the financial system in Puerto Rico. So there's a fiscal control board kind of imposed over the government in Puerto Rico. And they said, we want you to cut like half your budget. And so these are just like some headlines grabbed from our newspaper. They keep raising, like just to translate, right? They keep raising cuts. The retirement plan could be on the chopping block. All of these austerity measures were imposed. And so that happened while I was kind of at the top of my career, like as far up as I could really go. So I had climbed the ranks and I did all the things. I founded a research center. I was graduating master's students. We didn't have a PhD program. I spent many years, not many, because it wasn't so many, but let's say 3 years at least post-full, feeling really frustrated and tired. And frustration, as you may know, is a super tiring thing. And basically for me, what happened was I got to this level and I was like, well, I can't leave and I don't want to. We love living in Puerto Rico and my husband is from here and he's like very determined to stay in his department. I was like, well, I can't leave. How can I keep growing in this really, what was for me, a very stifling environment? And for me, what I did was I figured out my zone of genius and I created my own thing, which is this company where we now do professional development. So I want to tell Gina's story. I grabbed that original picture that you submitted, Gina. When you first got hired, that was your picture that you, I don't know how old that kid is now, but he's not that size anymore. And so I wanted to also, our coaches are so involved in co-creating this program. And Gina was really right there at the start. And so that's also your Twitter pic, by the way. Places I grabbed pictures of Gina. So Gina was granted tenure while tolerating a bullying colleague and decided, enough was enough and left her tenure track job for the Vermont Humanities Council. She figured out her zone of genius and is now a full-time coach. And I really feel like, having known Gina for a number of years now, that this is her genius place, is as a coach. Now, I am not suggesting that Elevate is a program where you will leave your job. So I just want to say that, but we wanted to give you a little bit about our experience. We talked in the winter of 2019, 2020, when we were developing this program, we talked to over 50 women. I had 45-minute Zoom calls with a ton of people. And that was part of how we created the program. And there were some things in common, as you can imagine. So they got tenure and they thought, why is this not different? Like, why am I not feeling better after having gotten tenure, which I worked so hard for? And many were like itching to make a change, but also kind of tired and not sure where to put their energy next. The push to tenure or the push to promotion had been really intense. And they got it. And then it's kind of like, I don't know how to muster the energy to create the next thing. And then also a theme that ran throughout all the interviews was that people were overwhelmed with admin responsibilities, some of them paid, some of them unpaid. And they also were tired of putting out fires. Like there was a lot of like, well, you've grown into more responsibility and authority inside of your department. And also with that, you're putting out fires for other people. You're trying to protect the time of junior faculty. Like as you're growing, you're also like, it's like a snowball rolling down a hill, right? You're like picking up tasks. And they didn't feel like the tasks that belong to those people. Like they were like, I am solving other people's problems all day, and I'm still not doing the thing I really want to do. So that was the theme of our interviews that helped us to develop the program. So Elevate is co-created by our team of coaches and you. And you, as you join, we have actually incorporated changes to the curriculum for this coming session based on our work with previous cohorts. And we continue, because so much of the Elevate program is delivered live, we continue to react and adapt to the actual humans who are in the program. So I want to talk about some of those humans who have taken our program before I get to the program parts. This is Becky Dawson. In January 2020, note the date, she's an epidemiologist. In January 2020, Becky felt like she had really big goals to accomplish, but was drowning in the everyday. She was like one of these, maybe some of you are like this, that you're like joint appointment where you span two departments, which really seems to just mean double work, right? And she knew that she could really be impactful in her work as an epidemiologist in public health, but she was like mired in a lot of admin, many, many students. And she was really hungry to see like the big picture of her career and make a big impact. Well, now comes COVID, and she was in our program during the lockdown and the development of COVID. And she was able to negotiate like an absolute, this is still service, right? That she is leading her campus's COVID response, but she negotiated no additional service responsibilities besides that, and a team for herself to support her as she does it. So she really was able to up level and step in to this kind of more big picture impactful thing, including like featured on the local news, like Ask Dr. Becky, and that about the pandemic, and really emerged as a leader in her community, her university community, but also her local community around her zone of genius, which is epidemiology. This is Joanne. She's a marine biologist in the UK. After years of working in admin, Joanne felt like she deserved a promotion, but her department didn't agree. She was going to go up and her department said, no, we don't support you. She stood up for herself and got the support of her dean so that she could go up anyway. And this was such a big deal for her to really like step into and say like, no, I deserve this. You might have heard Despina on our podcast recently. She joined Elevate because she thought she'd be able to get even more done, which I thought was it was so cute. She's like, I'm productive and I'm going to join this program, so I'm going to be even more productive, right? She already was bringing in more grant funds than anybody else in her department. But what she learned in Elevate was not how to be more productive necessarily, it was how to be more productive by resting more, which is something we also teach. So she let me know that she learned how to rest and took her first 2-week vacation that was 100% off work that she's ever taken in her life. Including her honeymoon. She was still checking emails on her honeymoon. But this summer, she took an actual 2-week vacation completely away from her lab and was able to do that and really rest and recharge. And this is Sonia. Sonia already was a leading literacy researcher and publishes a lot when she joined Elevate. But in the program, what she was able to do was really figure out her zone of genius and use her university funds to hire an assistant so that she has even more time to work in her zone of genius. So what we're going to cover today, inspired by all those wonderful Elevate members, is who Elevate's for, how the program works, and there is a special gift that I have for you. If you stay all the way to the end, you can grab it. And then we'll have as much time for Q&A as you'd like. So Elevate is a 6-month coaching program. The tagline is up-level your post-tenure career, but you absolutely could put here up-level your mid-career for those of you in the UK and other systems where you don't use the word tenure. Elevate is perfect for newly tenured faculty. So if you just got tenure, this is a great program. Despina is an example of someone who had just gotten tenured when she joined. It's also perfect for people on their way into or out of an admin role. So we've had people join the program who are newly chairs, right? And we've also had people join the program who are newly not chairs. So it's this adjustment to like, how do I keep my big dreams going while I'm at a chair? And then equally difficult is once you kind of step down from a chairship or even a deanship, how do you kind of get back into your thing and find your path after that? So we have worked with clients in both of those situations. If you're going up for promotion to full, we've also helped elevate clients who are in that position where they really want to make sure that they get their book written or that they get this grant so that it sets them up for their application to full. And we also have worked with people who are already full professors and they're just ready for more. So really any moment post promotion, post that first promotion or post tenure is all perfect. It's all great. And we are looking for a diverse group of 24 scholars who are ready to support each other in reaching the next level in their careers. So there are only 24 spots in this program. Applications open today, and you will get the application today before the end of the program. And enrollment starts as soon as your application is approved. So Elevate is for you if you want to figure out a post-tenure path that is in line with both your mission and values. It's also for you if you want to learn how to build a team of support around you, both at work and at home. It's for you if you want to spend more of your precious time doing what lights you up, right? Less putting out fires and more doing your thing. And also it's for you if you want to create an impact on the world through your work. So we're going to talk about how the program works. I'm going to show you first inside our program framework and then inside our program experience. So how do we deliver the content of that framework? And then I'm going to go through all of our amazing program extras. Don't forget, I got a special gift for you at the end. All right. So this is our Elevate program framework. And you'll see that there are 6 steps or themes that we walk through in our 6-month program. So we dedicate 1 month to each of these areas. In month 1, we talk about elevating your mission. So one of the things we try to express is that when you are mid-career, that mission statement, that academic mission statement that we have you write in our Navigate program, or maybe you found on our website, it changes. And so it becomes more like it leans towards legacy a little bit more. People are more thinking like, okay, well, this is great, but how am I going to really like do the big work and have the big impact that I want to have? So in month 1, we really dig into that. So we help you to reignite your sense of purpose and your academic mission. And the way we work on that is by articulating your ideal vision of your career and why you want to do it. We work on crafting the big picture vision and mission statement for your academic legacy. And one of the keys to this work is learning how to operate in your zone of genius. So you heard me talk about my zone of genius and Gina's zone of genius. That is a concept that comes from a book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap. And we really talk about how do you find that thing that is like the juicy stuff that you love to do that kind of lights you up and keeps you going. And how do you distinguish that zone of genius from other things that you're doing, other zones that you're working in? It's easy to see what your zone of incompetence is and even your zone of competence. The hardest part, especially mid-career, is looking at the difference between your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. So that's something we talk about. Excellence sounds excellent, right? But actually, if you get stuck and kind of pegged in your zone of excellence and you have very little time to do work in your zone of genius, you will be frustrated. So that's something that we start out talking about and then we develop. It's not something you're going to figure out like in 5 minutes. It's something that's going to take you time and that we coach you through figuring out. And in that first month, we also draft a 5-year plan. And the word draft is intentional because your 5-year plan in month 1 is going to look different by the time you get to month 6. And that's part of the program, right? We are always developing that 5-year plan, shifting and changing as you work through the different parts of the program so that by the end, your map of what you want to do is clear, and you don't just know what you want to do, but you have a plan for implementing it. In month two is value your time. So you learn how to spend more time working in your zone of genius and less time putting out other people's fires, doing paperwork you don't want to do, all kinds of stuff like that. So you will learn the time management skills that will help you significantly improve your everyday work life. You will be doing a time study that is very much adapted to the academic life and very much adapted to what we have found has been important and impactful for people to think about in terms of how they value their time. By doing that, you're going to find out where your time is leaking and get like a real picture of how you are using the precious moments of your day. And we also talk about building a team of support, both at work and at home. And one of the things that we really talk about is how do you kind of recruit assistants? How do you recruit students who are all on board with your big vision for what you want to happen, and that you are enriching their lives by bringing them with you, and they are enriching your lives as building this team of support around you. In month 3, we talk about centering your writing, and you might know me as a writing coach, and you'll see that this is a part, but it's not, this is really a career program, right? Not just a writing program. But writing is super important, as always, for me. So you will propel your dream forward, your dream project forward. So we need to know what kind of writing do we need to do to support that 5-year plan. You might find yourself reigniting writing projects that are important to you that maybe fell by the wayside while you were being a chair or taking on admin duties. You will design your pipeline to support your 5-year plan. So those things will be very connected and clear. In month 4, and this is one of the ways that we changed the curriculum a little bit, we really wanted to lean into trusting your process. So we want you to know that you have what it takes to survive in this stage, and that actually what you need to learn how to do is be more yourself. So you're going to evaluate your current practices, find ways to make them more sustainable. Of course, we always talk about saying no without guilt. And one of the things we really want to emphasize is learning how to turn things that you perceive as weaknesses, or that I say that you've been shoulding yourself about, right? Like that, I should be doing it this way. I should be motivated by this. Take that and say, no, this is me. This is who I am. So how can I leverage that into a strength? How can I create a work environment, a way of being that actually leans into those things that I've been thinking were weaknesses? So it's really about trusting your process and yourself and knowing deeply what your process for working is. In month 5, we talk about leading for legacy. So we want you to let your choices uplift yourself and others. We know that so much of mid-career is about leadership, but we have a different idea of what leadership is. We don't think that leadership equals admin, which is what many programs teach, or what is like the generally accepted kind of thought, like that if you're going to be a leader, that means you have to take on a chairship. We know that actually you're probably a leader right now. So let's think about how to develop the kind of leader that you want to be, and how you're going to mentor those around you, where you will find mentorship. And that all of that leading is really based on a value statement, which you'll develop in the program. And then finally, month 6, we circle back and we are at the end of the program. So we really want to think about, okay, what growth have I seen in myself over the last 6 months? So we're calling this Raise the Stakes. We used to talk about money specifically. We used to have like a money month, and we've kind of adapted as we went, because what we really wanted to say, I guess, or what we found was more useful for people, was to really make sure that your vision of what you want is up leveled, and that you've found ways to fund it. And either through grant funding or through asking your university for support in different ways, and really thinking about like, okay, once you get to month 6, you will have changed. You will have gone through a transformation. And so what was originally your 5-year plan will be different. So now we ask you to really define what success looks like for you on the everyday level and the big level, and then really think about your ambitious goal and, figure out how to fund that goal. And I mean, I have some dollar signs here, but I mean funding. And then I also mean like energetically funding, like finding the resources to do it. So those are our 6 months of the program. The way that we deliver these 6 months to you is what I'm going to explain next. If you'd like to hear the whole thing, we've got the link in the show notes so you can go put your email in. We even have a version of the whole thing as a podcast for you, so you can go ahead and have a listen. And please remember that our Elevate program is open for enrollment. It's an application-only program, so you'll just need to apply. And if you go to that same link in the show notes, put your email in, you'll get the information on how to apply for our program. It's a very simple, short application, and within 48 hours, we will look at your application and let you know whether we are inviting you in to our next cohort. I'm so honored that you spent your valuable time listening to this episode. Thank you. Before I go, I want to ask you, do you have an almost done article languishing in a virtual drawer? How about a new writing project that you just haven't been able to make the time to start yet? How about a piece of writing in the messy middle that you need to revive? Well, I've got the solution for you. Writing Sprint Blueprint. The Writing Sprint Blueprint is a powerful productivity tool for overwhelmed academics who want to get stalled out publications out of their pipelines and into the world. And it's only $27. And when you grab Writing Sprint Blueprint, you'll get my private motivational podcast feed called Stick to the Plan. It's 10 mini episodes of around a minute each that you can listen to right from your favorite podcast app to motivate you during your writing sprint. So what are you waiting for? Follow the link in the show notes to get Writing Sprint Blueprint today. I'll see you inside.